Hello, my name is Andrea Sanchez, and I am in the Exceptional Children class. It's at 9:30 on Thursdays, and it's an internet assisted, and I have Miss Vaughn as a teacher. So, one of the first articles that I want to talk about out of the five is called The Cotton Blossom Roundup Exceptional Children's Learn the Ropes by Desire Carver. I'm sorry. Um, this was a very good article. I mean, overall, the whole idea and the experience on what this is. They actually have it's like a rodeo, I guess you could say, for exceptional children. This rodeo, these people, they all volunteer. I mean, they're all professionals, and they volunteer to go to this school. Um, they go and they specified that they do it annually, and it's always on a Friday, and it's during the springtime. Um, so they volunteer, and they have all the exceptional children that they are escorted by an FFA member that are in the high school and the junior high. So I thought that was really cool the way that they incorporate all the FFA members. I mean, the people that know about the horses and about the rodeos, and I mean, that are going for a career. So not only is this benefiting the exceptional children, but it's also benefiting the people that are in the FFA club that are escorting these children. Um, they are watch. I mean, they are the FFA members are there to help the children, and the teachers, of course, are there to supervise everybody. So I just think it's really cool. I mean, it's a good therapy. I mean, it explained everything and even said that they do it annually on a Friday. They choose their Friday. I don't know exactly which one it was, but they do it. And then on the Saturday, the next day, they have an open to the public rodeo and stuff where the community can come in. They do charge for that one though. They just specify that. The children that are from newborn to 5 years old enter free, so they get free horses rides and everything. So I mean, it's a really good idea. I mean, everything just incorporating the whole community and the way the way they volunteer and they come together as a community to help these exceptional children. It's really awesome. I really like the whole idea. So there was no really grow in this article because it had all the information that was needed. The second article that I want to talk about is the new ways to teach young children to code. This was by Sue Schillenbarger. Sorry, I hope that's how it is. This was a really good article. I mean, it talked about at first one of the things that I'm gonna start out with the grow. At first, one of the things that I didn't like was how it did not give a definition for what it meant, how to teach young children to code. Like, I was like, to code? What do you mean to code? So I actually had to get into the reading and try to figure out what they were talking about. And exactly so. They're talking about the whole technology. They're trying to teach these children how to cope with technology even though they're so young. They are a really young age. I mean, these children that they're having and they're given the examples are from 4 to 6 years old. So they are having these children and they are testing them and they are trying to teach them stuff. But the one thing that this article is talking about is how parents, how they sometimes don't know about technology and they're wanting to teach their children. So, I mean, it gave lots of information on how parents can help their children learn about technology and how there's applications on phones now and on tablets. So it was, I mean, it was really informative. Had lots of information. One thing that I didn't like was that there wasn't really like a specified, like they just had like a children. So I don't know if some apps are appropriate for some children that know how to read and then some are not. So they didn't really specify that. So I would like to have more specific just age range in the apps and games and stuff. The second one that I want to talk about is one that we probably don't really realize that it's an actual problem, but it is. And I mean, it was an eye-opener for me. It's helping patients with autism navigate the stressful ER, and it's by Shefali Luthra. So this is talking about how autistic children have lots of difficult time going to the ER. I mean, they may get hurt, they may have a burn, and they have to go to an ER, but there is such a long wait. I mean, the kids, I mean, it's so chaotic sometimes, you know, like people come in with blood, and the autistic children kind of don't know how to handle with that, don't know how to handle all of that situation. So I really like this article. I mean, it talked about how we can have like a different waiting room for them, how we can have sensory toys for them to help them just keep their mind off of the fact that they are hurt and that there are people that are hurt there. Um, so it was really good. I mean, it had lots of examples and lots of information on it. So one of the only growths that I would have had is I would have liked to know how much this all would cost. Um, they talked about saving money, but they didn't specify how much money you would be saving, or if it was even um, worth it. I mean, it made me think about things that we could do, like just putting them straight into a room. That could be something that could help, because I do not know how much it would be to have a whole new waiting room. So I would have liked more prices, and just to have it specified, like more research on it, instead of just stating just ideas. But other than that, it was really informative. I mean, it had lots of information, it just didn't have the cost and stuff that it would cost to have all of that stuff built. The fourth one I want to talk about is the key findings of autism symptoms among children enrolled in study to explore early development. And this was by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. This was what they did was a research, and they had children of all ages and stuff come together for this research. They compared kids with autism, and they compared kids with a disorder. So it could be ADHD to, I don't know, an anxiety disorder. So they compare them, and they showed how many kids, even that don't have a disorder, they have symptoms that are autistic that sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, it is so hard to handle. But it's really, they're not so different. The only difference is that they have just certain disabilities, but we like to treat them like if they have more than just those disabilities. Because a lot of stuff we say, oh, it's because they're autistic. But it's not. It's because, I mean, that's just how children are. So it's things that are common that sometimes if we know that they're autistic, we're like, oh wait, that's because they're autistic. But no, so it had lots of information. I mean, this research was done from the 2000 to now. So I mean, it was a thing of 16 years of research. So it was really long research. I mean, it was really good. But one grow is that I would like to have it specified on which states this was made in, because it did not tell me what states. So I don't know what states, what regions, the ages of the kids. It didn't specify the ages. So maybe a child that's autistic that's 7 years old is acting as a 3-year-old, and they're still comparing both of them. I mean, that's just things that I just kind of think that maybe aren't good. But other than that, I mean, it was a really good article. And the last one, last but not least, is the key findings, prevalence, and characteristics of autistic spectrum disorder among 4-year-old children. And this was by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention as well. I'm going to start with the grow. It talked about Caucasian children and African American children. And in this article, it named them as black and white. That's one thing that I would like to change. It's not offensive, really, but it is. So I would like to have it change the black and white to maybe African American children and Caucasian children. Other than that, it was a really good article. I mean, it stated how African American children and American children have a difference in the time that autism is detected. So maybe it's the lack of the parents knowing how to prevent it and what's going on with their children. So maybe we need to teach the parents more. So that was the girl. I mean, just change the names, call them African American and Caucasian. And I mean, the Globe was, I mean, it had lots of information on there. So it was a really good article. I had fun with all these articles. They were all different in many ways. Thank you.